evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty the Sultan sends a cable of greetings to His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka on his country's independence anniversary. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud affirms while receiving the President of the Union Cyclists International that Oman gives special attention to youth and sports sector. The commander of the U.S. Central Command affirms on the deep-rooted U.S.-Omani relations and the Sultanate's effort to reconcile points of view. And the Sultanate of Oman and Finland stress on the importance of dialogue to promote peace and stability in the region and the world.
أقسم بالله العظيم أن أحترم النظام الأساسي للدولة والقوانين، وأن أرعى مصالح المواطنين وحرياتهم رعاية كاملة، وأن أحافظ على استقلال الوطن وسلامة أراضيه.
Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, on his country's independence anniversary. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, received His Excellency David Lapertiant, President of the Union Cyclists International, who is currently visiting the Sultanate. His Highness Sayyid Fahd affirmed that the Sultanate pays special attention to sport and youth sectors, along with other activities that enhance talents and develop skills. His Highness expressed the Sultanate's appreciation for the Union's efforts to support the cooperation in this field and organizing tournaments between competitors from around the world to strengthen communication between nations. He also pointed out the significance of such activities, among which is Tour of Oman, and it is considered one of the main aspects that shed lights on the natural, civilizational, and tourism potentials of Oman, as well as acquainting the participants with the achievements of the country during the past years. During the meeting, they discussed the cooperation fields between the Sultanate and the Union, including topics related to the establishment of an international center for training Omani cyclists so as to qualify the participants to contribute in international competitions. From his side, His Excellency David Lapertiant expressed his joy and appreciation of the Union on this visit to the Sultanate and its continued cooperation in international sports authorities. He also stressed that the Cyclists Union is prepared to support Oman in hosting a number of international competitions. He further valued the Sultanate's efforts to make the Tour of Oman successful with the participation of a number of cyclists from around the world. He also emphasized on the significance of the meetings that are conducted with His Excellency the Minister of Sports Affairs and officials in the Sultanate. General Kenneth F. McKenzie, commander of the U.S. Central Command, affirmed on the deep-rooted relations binding the Sultanate and the United States of America. That came when he was received by His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed al-Nu'mani, Minister of Royal Office. During the meeting, the two sides exchanged cordial talks and discussed issues of mutual concern. During the meeting, the commander of U.S. Central Command expressed his sincere condolences on the demise of His Majesty the late Sultan Qaboos. May his soul rest in peace. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud al-Busaidi, Minister responsible for Defense Affairs, received General Kenneth F. McKenzie, Commander of the U.S. Central Command. During the meeting, the guest expressed his sincere condolences on the demise of His Majesty the late Sultan Qaboos. May his soul rest in peace. The two sides also reviewed aspects of military cooperation between the Sultanate and the U.S. and means of strengthening them. The commander of the U.S. Central Command affirmed his country's appreciation for the role that the Sultanate undertakes in the regional and international fields. He as well praised the efforts exerted by the Sultanate to reconcile the points of view and extend communications and friendship bridges with various world countries. He as well valued the existing cooperation between the Sultanate and the U.S. and expressed his country's keenness to continue the military cooperation with the Sultanate. The meeting was attended by Lieutenant General Ahmed bin Harith al-Nabhani, Chief of Staff of Sultan Armed Forces. Lieutenant General Ahmed bin Harith al-Nabhani, Chief of Staff of the Sultan Armed Forces, met with General Kenneth F. McKenzie, Commander of the U.S. Central Command, and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, the two sides exchanged viewpoints on a number of military topics and discussed issues of mutual concern. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, received at the Ministry's building today His Excellency Kai Sauer, Under-Secretary of the Finland Foreign Ministry for Foreign and Security Policy. The meeting reviewed the existing bilateral relations between the two countries and discussed means of enhancing bilateral cooperation in various political, economic, and cultural fields to serve the joint interests. The meeting also touched on a number of regional and international issues of common concern. The two sides stressed the importance of dialogue and cooperation to come up with situations for various issues in a bid to maintain peace, security, and stability in the region and the world. A political consultation session was held today between the Sultanate and Finland. The session highlighted the bilateral relations binding the two countries and means of strengthening cooperation in various fields which serve the interests of the two nations. The session also dwelt on current developments in the regional and international fields. The Sultanate's side was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Khalifa bin Ali al-Harthi, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Diplomatic Affairs, while the Finland side was led by His Excellency Kai Sauer, Under-Secretary of the Finland Foreign Ministry for Foreign and Security Policy. Shura Council held its fifth ordinary meeting to pay tribute to His Majesty the late Sultan Qaboos bin Said. May Allah rest his soul in peace. The session was held to commemorate the long-standing service of His Majesty the late Sultan Qaboos bin Said, who have contributed over 50 years to build the modern Oman and to transform the country into its current state. The session started with the recitation from the Holy Quran, followed by a prayer in memory of His Majesty the late Sultan Qaboos bin Said. Members of the Shura Council expressed their grief and sadness through prayers and poetry over the passing of the builder of Oman. During the session, a documentary video was played on His Majesty's leadership and contributions to steer the country to a modern state in which people live in dignity and respect. The documentary video also highlighted the jurisdiction entrusted to Shura Council over the course of the Blessed Renaissance. The session was concluded by praying to Allah the Almighty to bestow upon His Majesty His mercy and forgiveness. Still to come on News Bulletin. Over 220,000 tourists visited Wadi Bani Khalid last year. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Digital economy is the new growing trend in the global economy with the spread of internet and other IT technologies. Digital economy is linked to various sectors including artificial intelligence, financial activities, cloud technologies, robotics, and Internet of Things. It's also linked to currency exchange and business platforms. Digital economy is growing at accelerated pace as businesses and government services are being digitalized and the need for manual work is diminished. Experts predict that more than 75 million human occupations will be lost in the face of the growing digital economy. In exchange, jobs in the future will focus on the application of IT, IoT, and AI. The state's revenues recorded a decline by 2.3% by the end of November 2019 to reach 9.4 billion Omani riyals. According to the statistics of the National Center for Statistics and Information, the general expenditure declined by 1.8% to reach 11.3 billion Omani riyals by the end of November 2019. The decrease in the state's revenues during that period was due to the decline in the net of oil and gas revenues as well as customs tax. More than 220,000 visitors visited the freshwater ponds in the wilaya of Wadi Bani Khalid during last year. The statistics by the Ministry of Tourism clarified that the number of Omanis that have visited those ponds reached more than 65,000, as the European visitors reached around 88,000. The freshwater ponds in the wilaya of Wadi Bani Khalid are considered one of the touristic destinations distinguished by many factors that attract tourists and contribute in holding tourism activities during winter and summer sessions. The Ministry of Health, represented by the Directorate General of Disease Surveillance and Control and the Directorate General of Primary Healthcare, organized today at the Holiday Inn an urgent workshop to emphasize on the preparedness of the Directorates General of Health Services in all governorates in handling the new novel coronavirus 2019 outbreak in China. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai.
How to manage this?
A workshop held under the patronage of His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Saif Al Husni, Minister of Health and the Secretary for Health Affairs, and attended by the Directors of Departments of Diseases Surveillance and Control, Primary Healthcare and Private Healthcare Institutions in the Governorates, to emphasize on the preparedness of the Directorates General of Health Services of all governorates in handling the new novel coronavirus outbreak in China. During the workshop, His Excellency the Undersecretary stressed that the Ministry supports the health institutions by the required devices and staff that would enhance them to handle any detected cases. The workshop touched upon several related issues, including the National Framework for Preparedness Plan, the Preparedness Plan North Sharqiya Experience, Rapid Response Plan, Health Promotion and Media, and others. The training workshop also highlighted the preparations experiences in Muscat International Airport, Sohar Seaport, the private health sector and the primary health care institutions.
This is one of the several meetings that has been conducted to update all the stakeholders at healthcare institution of the Ministry of Health and Private Sector. All of the participants are ready to deal with the situation if such cases appear in the country, and we hope, inshallah, no cases will be recorded.
The Ministry of Health monitors the current situation of 2019 novel coronavirus in China, as well as the reports issued by the World Health Organization.
In this meeting, different scenarios and action have been discussed, and the management plan have been laid out with all different sectors, inclusive of the testing, quarantine, and medical therapy of all suspected cases in the primary health care, private sector, and the secondary health care.
Minister of Health has taken the precautionary measures in health institutions on how to handle, prevention and control any suspected cases. It also raises awareness among the healthcare workers, community and travelers from and to China to ensure health security in the Sultanate. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty the Sultan sends a cable of greetings to His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka on his country's independence anniversary. His Highness Sayyid Fahad bin Mahmoud affirms while receiving the President of the Union Cyclists International that Oman gives special attention to youth and sports sector. The commander of the U.S. Central Command affirms on the deep-rooted U.S.-Omani relations and the Sultanate's efforts to reconcile points of view. And the Sultanate of Oman and Finland stress on the importance of dialogue to promote peace and stability in the region and the world. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.